Chancellor, for seeing me on such short notice.
It's a pleasure, Mr. Scorpio. I appreciate your calling in advance so I could gather this information you wanted. Now, this is a complete list of all our faculty members doing research here at the university. You'll note that I've listed their names, the dollar amounts of the grants subsidizing their research, and the titles of their projects. I hope that's what you had in mind.
Well, it should be quite a help to me.
I'm glad. You know, ever since I've become head of the university, I put great emphasis on cooperation with the city. It's the old idea of town and gown, and I want the relationship between the two to be excellent.
Well, that's very reassuring of you, sir. Can I ask you a question about this?
By all means, please sit down.
Now, I've just scanned this rather quickly, but I noticed a name here, Dr. Hector Gerald.
We consider his presence on campus to be a real plus. As you probably know, he's a Nobel nominee.
Yes, I'm aware of his reputation. Something puzzles me, though, about the information after his name, or should I say the lack of information.
Just what is it you don't understand?
Doesn't say here what Hector Gerald is working on.
No, it does not.
And again, unlike the others, there's no indication of where his grant money is coming from.
Again, there is not.
Still, the amount of his funding far exceeds that of any others.
Professor Gerald's research is being privately funded, Mr. Scorpio.
By someone or some institution that doesn't wish to be identified.
That's not as unusual as you may assume, Mr. Scorpio.
Well, perhaps not, but on the face of it, it seems a little odd. I mean, all the others here have got the details of their grants, like the amounts and the source.
Well, I realize that, but being a Nobel nominee makes Gerald an exception. Whatever work or research he's doing may well be his next bid for a Nobel Prize. We can appreciate that he doesn't want the nature of his work spread over the campus.
You trying to tell me that even you don't know the nature of his work?
I do not. Nor, as far as I know, does anyone here.
Is this a normal situation?
No. It's highly unusual. Ordinarily, the university would insist on knowing the exact nature of the work any of our research people are doing.
But not Hector Gerald.
Because of his enormous prestige, we're content to assume that whatever he's working on is distinctly worthwhile.
But no one knows what his work is.
One man does, of course.
Who?
Hector Gerald himself. Have you talked to him?
No, as a matter of fact, I haven't. Tell me, Chancellor, how long has he been working on this project of his, do you know?
I believe about 8 to 10 years.
Here on campus?
Oh, hardly. He only moved his work here earlier this year. Prior to that, he worked in London.
And before that?
I think we'll find that information on his resume. Let me just take a look. Yes, here it is. Prior to London, he worked at MIT in Boston.
And before that?
Caltech at Pasadena, California.
What about...
Just east of Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. What about Topeka, Kansas?
Topeka? I doubt that, Mr. Scorpio. I'm sure there's nothing in his line of work in Topeka but the big book. Well, that is a surprise.
I was right.
He did work in Topeka. But he wasn't connected with any university. It's simply indicated as independent study.
That's very helpful, Chancellor.
I ask how on earth you happen to ask about Topeka?
Oh, just a wild guess. You've been a great help to me, sir.
Glad to be of service. Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, I feel I can take it from here. The next move is probably a meeting with the great man himself.
May I ask why?
I have a feeling that Professor Gerald is going to have a lot of answers that I want to hear.